Yeah. Hello everyone. Welcome back to part two of how to crack films using common sense and basic understanding. I'm Mohan, founder of IS Baba. Hope all of you have watched my previous two videos on how to crack prelims, the part one session, using common sense and mistakes committed by students, and also the UPSC prelims tips and strategy by Mohan sir. And it would have helped you a lot as well. And today I'll be discussing a 2019 films question paper. Yeah, now coming to the 2019 films question paper, there were at least around 23 to 25 questions on which you could have used your common sense and got the answers right. So now let's see how to keenly observe and get the answers right. So in 2019, this question talks about use of carbofuran, methyl, folate, trisophos. Okay, all these are chemicals. These are viewed with apprehensions. So the basic keyword here is, in fact, the pronunciation of this keyword. I mean, the chemicals here also is so tough. But for me, that is that doesn't matter because the keyword here is apprehension. The word apprehension. So when there's an apprehension or something, obviously when I'm scared of something, I'll not be eating it or I'll not be using it on over my face or body, right? So going by that logic, preservatives in processed foods, fruit ripening agents, or moisturizing agents in cosmetics, all the three cannot be right. Right. The only option that we are left with is pesticides in agriculture. Some might argue that again in fact agriculture is also directly related to our food. But here, what I would suggest is see agriculture. There are two types. Yeah, in agriculture also there are like food crops and non-food crops like jute, cotton, all that. Say right. So that is one reason, and the second reason is let's not overthink. Like when I dig deep, as I said, when you think deeper over it, more often than not you will end up in the wrong answer. So going by the prima facie evidence as such, these are the three statements where the chemicals cannot be used, and the only place where the chemicals can be used is in pesticides in agriculture. So this is the answer for this particular question on chemicals. Now moving on to the next question. Prima facie, looking at this question itself, I can say just because the word some species, some is given in all the four statements, all of the above can is right because all of the above statements are right because every rule has an exception. Going by that theory, when the word some is used in all the four statements, all of the statements are right. Going to the next question. In the context of India, which of the following factors is are contributors to reducing the risk of currency crisis? So for me, the keyword here is currency crisis. When there's a currency crisis, let us apply it to ourselves. When I'm facing a situation where there's less money with me, what will I do is I'll reduce my expenditure. First thing is I'll reduce my expenditure. The second thing is I'll try to borrow it from others. It incoming any way it comes with interest or without interest, I'll directly accept it. At the same time, I'll be reducing my expenditure. Going with that concept, let us look into the three statements given here. The foreign currency earnings of India's, okay, to reduce the risk of alt shift. So obviously here is the incoming side. So anything that is coming to us, we'll accept it. So the foreign currency earnings of Indian sector, of course, this is right. Increasing in government expenditure, as I said, I will not be spending more. So this is wrong. Two is wrong. Remittances from India's abroad, of course, is also the incoming side. So both statement one and three is right. So going by this logic, answer is one and three. And let's move on to the next question. With reference to the cultivation of kharif crops in India, the last 5 years, consider the following statements. It says there are four statements given, right? About different crops, all that. I am not aware of any of the things, but my common sense tells me that the second statement reads out saying area under cultivation of jowar is more than that of oilseeds. See, jowar is a single crop, whereas oilseeds are multiple crops. It can be rapeseed, it can be sunflower, right, mustard, all that. So the logic here is one crop cannot exceed multiple crops. So going by that logic, area under cultivation jowar is more than that of oilseeds. Obviously, this is false. When two is false, option B is wrong, option C is wrong, option D is wrong. So you're left with finally A as the answer. That is 1 and 3 only. Right, hope you're enjoying it and hope you're trying to understand the logic also behind this questions. Now coming to this question, which talks about in India, which of the following review the independent regulators in sectors like telecommunication, all that. Okay, if you have a fair understanding of what is a Niti Aayog, right, what is a finance commission, what is a parliamentary demand, you will get this answer right. Niti Aayog is a think tank; it never regulates. Finance commission, the function of finance commission is to distribute resources, right? So especially the financial resources. Going by that logic, 3 and 5 cannot act as a regulator or review, right? It cannot act as regulators here. Which of the following review the okay? It is not the function of either finance commission or Niti Aayog. Going by this, wherever 3 and 5 strike out 3 and 5, 3 is here, 3 and 5 is here, 5 is here. So eliminate B, C, D, and finally you are left with option 1 and 2. Fine. Going to this question, with reference to land reforms in independent India, which of the following statement is true? For this, you should have a fair idea on land reforms. Right? Land reforms, the main idea of land reforms was to give security to the tiller of the land and give him an equal opportunity and status, right, similar to the rest of the people. So, with that as the logic, the ceiling laws were aimed at family holdings and not individual holdings. There's nothing as such. In fact, both family holdings and individual holdings were covered. So let us keep this option aside for now. The major aim of land reforms is providing agricultural land. Okay, this is of course true, and students might get confused with the word all here. Let us keep it aside again. It resulted in the cultivation of cash crops as a predominant form of cultivation when people were struggling for food crops, I don't think cash crops will even matter here. So this statement is obviously wrong. Land reforms permitted no exemptions. See, any law or rule always has an exemption. Going by that theory, this statement is also wrong. So C and D is wrong, and you're left with A and B. So obviously here, right, there are times where individual holdings were targeted, and there are times where family holdings were also targeted. So this statement cannot be true, and where the aim of anything for that matter, or object or mission of any land, any form of law, is always be idealistic. So the going by that theory, and also by the essence of what is land reforms, right, the second statement, that is B option, is true, was providing agricultural land to the landless. Going to the next question. Yeah, which one of the following groups of plants was domesticated in the new world and introduced into the old world? Let's say I'm not aware that aware of that America is the new world and Europe is the old world. I'll just go by this key word, which is new and old here. So coming to the options here, wheat was something that was known to people across the globe since ancient times, even cotton for that matter. So going with that knowledge, I'll eliminate C, I'll eliminate D, I'll eliminate B as well because cotton is here. The new crops would be tobacco, cocoa, and rubber. So the answer here is A for Ahmedabad. Am I clear? And come to the next question. Which one of the following is not a subindex of World Bank's ease of doing business? So if you have an understanding of business, you will clearly know what are the aspects that is related to business. Paying taxes is related to business. Registering the property, registering your business is related to business again here. Dealing with the construction permits again has a relation with business. So except for maintenance of law and order, the rest of the three falls under the ambit of business, doing business. So the answer here is maintenance of law and order. Going to the next question. Consider the following statements. Asiatic lion is naturally found in India only. We find Asiatic lion in Gir forest, and let us keep it aside for now. A double-armed camel is naturally found in India only. Uh, like if you consider it, like in India, we have not heard about double and armed camel except for in Ladakh, right? Let us keep this statement also aside. Let us go to the third statement. One on rhinoceros is naturally found in India only. Here, I'm not talking about the extreme words like only here, right? The intention here is, see, animals do not have man has boundaries, but animals do not have boundaries. So, animals, especially, it is found in the eastern part of India, and it can easily naturally move around to the ASEAN countries, the Bangladesh, all that. So since animal does not have boundaries, it is the statement does not hold good. They can roam around in any of the country for that matter. So going by that logic, the statement is false. When three is false, you are left with one and two. Going by the first and the second statement, your word of about Asia decline, but a double-limbed camel is not that frequently heard in India, right? So going by that understanding, I would go with Asiatic lion, and also, as I said, the same theory can also apply here. Asiatic lion also, right? Animals do not have boundaries, but it is found in Gir forest. If you try to cross Gir forest or that part of the area, it is basically the swamp area. And if you try to cross the swamp area, it is the ocean water. So here the Asiatic lion cannot move freely around there. So going by that logic, uh, answer is A only, one only. In the context of any country, which one of the following would be considered as part of social capital? Again, basic understanding, common sense. The social capital is nothing but is based on mutual trust. See, for example, you want to visit a doctor. The first thing is like rather than, okay, nowadays people do Google all that, but first thing is you ask your friend probably who has visited the doctor, get the feedback. So that is again based on social capital. Or the school that you want your kid to join, again that is social capital. Or even coming to UPSC, you'll check with your friends whether that institute is good or not. Based on that, you will take a call. That is again social capital. Going by that logic, it is nothing but the level of mutual trust and harmony in the society. Moving on to the next question. As per the Industrial Employment Standard Orders Central Amendment rules, consider the following. Obviously, looking at this itself, most of the students are scared that they've not read these rules and they might, or they would have skipped this. But if you actually keep a track of what is happening at the industrial level or in the manufacturing sector, what is happening is there is an exit policy, easy exit policy. The country is moving towards an exit policy where the employer will have more powers to recruit and to uh, send off that person, right? So he has a freer hand. Going by that logic, see the conditions where whether the conditions are favoring the employer or not. When the condition is favoring the employer, then it means the statements are right. So going by the first statement, it says if rules for fixed term employment are implemented, it becomes easier for the companies to lay off workers. Obviously, it is favoring the worker, I mean employer. So this is also right. No notice of termination of employment shall be necessary in the case of temporary. Again, this is an easy exit policy. Going by that rule, both the statements are right. So both one and two is right here. Going to the next question. In the context of wearable technology, which of the following task is accomplished by wearable devices? So what is this wearable technology? It is something that you wear it on your body, hands-free devices. So these have smart sensors through which it will detect your heart rate, right, or even the position where you are in the location where you know all that. So going by that logic, it will help you in location identification, of course, sleep monitoring, of course, assisting in hearing impaired person. All the three are right. Going by that logic, all the three statements are right. So what I'm trying to say is have a broader understanding. Go by the keywords given. So the keywords here, and based on that understanding, deduce the answers. Right? Don't overthink again here. Right? In the context in this question, it says in the context of which of the following do some scientists suggest the use of cirrus cloud thinning technique and injection of sulfate aerosol into the stratosphere? See, the keyword here would be cloud thinning technique for me. So, usually when the clouds are thin, what will happen is there will be no rainfall. The growing of clouds means rainfall. So, with that concept, the first statement does not go well with this keyword cloud thinning technique because it says creating artificial rains. Only when the cloud grows will it rain. So, this cloud thinning technique and the first statement doesn't go together. So this statement is wrong. And cloud thinning technique does not have anything to do with tropical cyclones or the solar wind, which is in the uh, uh, what do you say in the troposphere and in the ionosphere, right? Nowhere it is related to it. And finally, you will end up with this as the answer, reducing global warming. This is one way of looking at this question. The second way is stratosphere. The keyword here is stratosphere. This is by knowledge-based elimination, wherein you know that okay, the first two options, artificial rains or tropical cyclones, are a part of troposphere, and whereas solar wind is a part of ionosphere. So going by that technology, I mean going by that technique also, you can get D as the answer, and using the global warming. So this is the answer. D is the answer for this question. Coming to the next question, in a given year, official poverty lines are higher in some states than in other, because see, when what is the meaning of official poverty lines? It is the minimum threshold. It is the minimum amount with which a person can buy his daily needs. That is the understanding of poverty lines. So it varies from one state to another. So that is the question asked. Is it because of the poverty rates vary from state to state? No. Is it because of the price levels that vary from state to state? This can be right. I'll come back to this again. GDP varies from state to state. It does not have any relation with poverty lines varying across state to state, nor is the quality of distribution. Since the price levels vary from one state to another, it is seen that in certain places it is higher, in certain places it is lower. So the answer for this is B, B for Bangalore. Coming to this question, which is for the measurement or estimation of which of the following are satellite images used. So the keyword here is satellite data. Wait, what is satellite? Satellites are nothing but eyes in the sky, which looks into the surface of the earth, the atmosphere, the ocean surface, and gives you precise data, right? That is the function of satellite. And here the basic function of satellite is based on the energy it detects the data. That is how it is able to predict data through energy, different energy levels. So going by that logic, chlorophyll content also can be detected from a specific location. Again, energy comes into factor here. Greenhouse gas emission, again energy comes into factor here. Land surface temperature, again energy comes into factor here. Going by that logic, all the three statements are right. Moving on to the next question. In the context of polity, which one of the following would you accept as the most appropriate definition of liberty? If you look at the four statements, again, all the four statements can be right looking from different perspectives, right? So here, some of the institutes have given B as the answer, but I would go with D as the answer because I feel that opportunity to develop oneself fully, right, is the best option. In fact, even in fundamental duty, it is said that one should develop to its full potential. So going by that as well, here the definition, most appropriate definition of liberty would be to develop oneself fully. We have right to develop oneself fully. We do not have right, right, because right to harm others. So going by that logic, here absence of restraint is also true. But here, if I go by this definition of liberty, absence of restraint, then I will be able to do whatever I would like to, be it positive or negative. But this option gives me a better understanding of liberty. So going by that logic, I would say D as the answer here. Moving on to the next question. As per the law, compensatory forestation fund management and planning authority exists at both uh, national and state levels. Here, forest is comes under the concurrent list. When it comes under the concurrent list, both the state and the national government has power over it. So going by that, this statement seems to be true. People's participation is mandatory in the compensatory afforestation programs carried out by compensatory afforestation fund. So here, see, we cannot, this statement is too strong. You can make the Gram Panchayat's participation to be mandatory, but you cannot say every person in that area to participate participate in it. So this statement is too strong. So going by that logic, the first statement is only true. So that is one only here. Moving on to the next question, which article of the Constitution of India safeguards one's right to marry the person of one's choice? Directly, it is nothing but Article 21. 21 is nothing but right to life, and that even includes your freedom to choose your partner. Article 19 is more to do with freedom of speech and expression, freedom of movement, freedom to choose your profession, on that. But overall, I think Article 21 is much a better choice in the given option here. So the answer is B, B for Bangalore. In the context of which one of the following the terms pyrolysis and plasma gasification mentioned. See here, again, the keyword mentioned here is pyrolysis. If I know what is pyrolysis, I can tell you, I can get the answer right here. Pyro is nothing but fire. Lysis is nothing but breakdown of energy from one form to another. Going by that understanding, it is nothing but conversion of one form to another energy. That is from conversion from waste to energy. So this is nothing but D is the answer here. With reference to Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, consider the following statements. AIIB has more than 80 members. Okay, let's leave this for now. India is the largest stakeholder. At least again here, knowledge also comes to play. When China is involved, India cannot be the largest shareholder. So obviously two is wrong. So you're down with two and two. So you're left with either one or one and three. AIIB does not have any members from outside Asia. This is false because Germany and Russia, right, are also part of it. And not only that, any infrastructure investment bank would require participation of participation of more countries, be it developed or developing countries, going by that logic as well. So the third statement is wrong. So finally, you are ending up with one only here. So the answer is one only. What is the first regulatory body? So this itself, reading the statement itself, that you'll get it wrong. You'll get to know that this statement is wrong because one is RBI was the first regulatory body that was set up. Right? I mean, before independence, that is 1934. After that, there were so many years on which there were so many other regulatory bodies which came up. So that is one reasoning. The other reasoning is petroleum got deregulated recently, and this regulatory body would also been set up recently. It can be 2010, 2005, right, or 2000 times. So it cannot be the first regulatory body set up. Going by that logic, wherever one is there, just eliminate that option one, and one. So the answer is two and three here directly, right? The economic cost of food grains to the Food Corporation of India is minimum support price and bonus paid to the farmers plus. Again, this is very commonsensical. Economic cost is nothing but the cost of procurement or storage or transportation. Going by that logic, all of them seems to be right in one way or the other, but this particular statement, procurement, incidental, and distribution cost, covers everything. Because here again, procurement incidentals is right, but here it is confining only to storage, but here distribution cost is also taken care. So procurement incidental is nothing but the labor cost and transportation. Here again, distribution cost consists of storage and transportation again. So this is more comprehensive compared to the rest of the options here. So the answer is C for Calcutta. Yeah, I hope the session has helped you in getting more confidence in attempting films exam once again. And at the end of the day, what I believe is a basic understanding, presence of mind, and a keen observation is what will help you in scoring above the cutoff. Of course, without taking away the role of knowledge that would play a key role in the prelims exam. I'll be coming up with the part three of this same series where I'll be solving a 2018 prelims question paper and 2017 question paper using common sense and basic understanding technique. These are the free initiatives that is running on the website. Cap to the point, hotline, ask Baba, catharsis, unlock your talent, creativity, and mind maps. I've already explained all the four in the previous session, that is part one session. Current affairs, cap is nothing but current affairs prelims taken by UPSC topper Iman Jamal, IPS 2018. Right? And these are the two must-watch videos for prelims exam. This becomes important for people who are giving the exam this year as well as people who want to attempt next year. So this will give you a lot of confidence in attempting prelims exam. So how to crack prelims exam using common sense and common mistakes made by students is part one of the same series. And must-watch UPSC prelims tips and strategy do's and don'ts from Monster, IS Papa founder. Thank you and all the best.